Sally. Hi, everybody. Oh, look, there's a dog there. There's your first patient. Oh, very good. Tara, thanks a lot. That's a gorgeous dog. That's a new dog, is it? Oh,
Yeah, she's only a puppy.
yeah. Oh, hello. Hi, Roisin.
How are
So
you?
it's a little lady, is it?
It's a cavapoo. Yes, it's a girl.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
So we want to get some tips on all the things to do with her before we.
Yeah. Well, you're in the right place. You're in the right
Yes.
place. Um, I'll just introduce myself first of all because this is going to go up on YouTube later tonight or tomorrow. And so I'm Antoinette McQueenie. I know everybody here at the moment knows me. Here comes Jan. And I'm a human homeopath, and I'm in the west of Ireland, and I specialise in women's menstrual issues. So anything from painful periods or missing periods, menopause, perimenopause, all of that. I deal with that. And this here beside me, hi Jan, lovely to see you. This here beside me is Hanke Fahy, and Hanke, you're oh yeah, you're on mute now. Hanke is somebody that I've kind of known very vaguely, and maybe we probably met first about 10 years ago at a veterinary seminar and a homeopathic veterinary seminar, and we've seen each other on and off the last few years. And then we started messaging each other, I suppose, about 2, 3 years ago. And now here she is tonight. And I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be able to chat to you here. And I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell these lovely people all about yourself. And I'm just going to keep letting people in here as they come, okay?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I'm Hanka. I'm originally from Germany, but I live here, let me think, 23 years. I'm in Ireland now. But as I said, I'm originally from East Germany. I like to always put my bid in for the for East Germans. Yeah, I'm here. I started here straight away as a vet. I started as a conventional vet. 10 years I worked in mixed practice in Donegal and in Galway. And yeah, life takes turns, and I went. A lot of things happened, and I decided. I learned a lot, and I decided to go into naturopathy. And I was very lucky because in Germany we have naturopathic schools, not only for humans, also for animals. So I could learn a lot in Germany, and so I was very, very lucky because it's very hard to get a naturopathic knowledge for animals.
Right.
Even homeopathy. Homeopathy, you can't take a course here in Ireland for a veterinary homeopathy. You have to go to England. Or now we have online courses as well. But it's not easy to get naturopathic education for animals. So I was lucky to get that in Germany. And yeah, in 2022, January, I decided to turn my back onto conventional veterinary medicine because I never had my own clinic. I was always working for other vets, but I could not, do things for my bosses, like vaccinations without, it wasn't what I thought it's right. So I could not work in conventional veterinary medicine and decided I'd go straight into naturopathy and just do that. And of course, we need the help of conventional veterinary medicine, diagnostics, and of course, we need once in a while antibiotics or other treatments. And I work with other vets in conjunction. But I have a lot of success just treating with herbs, homeopathy, medicinal mushrooms, supplements. So yeah. And what I actually have done in the last few years is that I'm now a certified small animal nutritionist, certified phytotherapist for humans and animals. And there was one more. Oh yeah, the veterinary homeopathy I did as well.
I'm especially glad to have you here because people often come to me and ask me for remedies for for their fur babies, and legally I'm not supposed to prescribe for animals. Truthfully, I wouldn't be very good at it. I tend to panic when it comes to animals, and especially bad with my own animals. So, but people can treat their own animals themselves with homeopathy and all these other things. So I just want to get that out of the way, and just explain that really quickly. So, can I just ask you, because you mentioned vaccinations, that's one of the things that people have come to me about afterwards when dogs have seizures and things like that. Can you just maybe briefly mention any dangers of vaccinations that you've seen, that you've come across for animals?
And yeah, I haven't. It's so strange, when you vaccinate them, you might, if you see symptoms 24 hours later, it's related to the vaccination. But usually you see only ailments a few years later, because all the toxins have built up in the animal, so that you actually only see it a few years later. And it's very hard to say it's because of the vaccination. But I know it's one of the parts. One part is all the chemicals that animals getting far too much. Also, dewormers or flea treatment, the wrong nutrition is so much. And one part is the vaccinations. The vaccine that is a chemical that there are chemicals that can do a lot of damage. And it is known now. I don't know why a lot of vets don't get it. You don't have to vaccinate every year. It is official, and either vets don't want to know it or just keep going because of the money. But you don't have to vaccinate every year. It's every 3 years. But studies have shown once you have the basic vaccinations done, they can last at least 7 to 9 years, if not even lifetime. It's proven. It's out there. And I have to say, my dogs and cats are not vaccinated at all. You can't even do without. And I'm there to, to advise people what to do and how they can do. And, you need knowledge to make decision.
Yeah, you do. You also mentioned dewormers there. I know that's something that people use a lot, and it can affect the gut. Is this something Hanka she's got a free webinar coming up next week. So she's going to be covering some things here tonight and some things on her webinar and some things later on if you want to do more work. She's actually got a huge amount of information and an awful lot of knowledge. So maybe I should just let you tell us what you want to tell us instead of me jumping in saying, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that?
Let's say, I would also answer questions if you like, let's say, you mentioned, I have my webinar next Friday where I will teach or introduce people to a few remedies that you should have at home, that you can treat your dog or cat if they are suddenly fall ill. Because I think I usually treat chronic cases, but of course I get also acute cases. And it happens so often that, someone rings me, my cat is bleeding, it's Sunday evening, what can I do? And then I say, do you have this certain remedy at home or this herb that it can help straight away? So I actually would like everyone to have certain homeopathic remedies and herbs or kitchen remedies at home so they can help their animals straight away. And that's what I will talk about in the webinar. Introduce a few herbs, a few kitchen remedies, a few homeopathic remedies, so that you can actually help your animals yourself. So just
Jan is saying, do you treat pigs?
Pigs?
Yeah.
So when I used to work as a conventional vet, I treated pigs as well. Let's see. Now I treat mostly dogs and cats. But I would also, if someone has questions with farm animals and horses, and I can do everything else as well. But let's say homeopathic remedies or herbs. I'll start with homeopathic remedies. you can use them on all animals. You can use them on plants. It doesn't really matter, especially in acutes. It's very easy. Certain symptoms need certain homeopathic remedies, no matter what kind of an animal. And it's the same with similar with herbs, but in herbs you have to be a bit careful. Like a cat, for instance, doesn't have certain enzymes to break down certain chemicals in herbs, so you can't give all the herbs to cats. So there's a difference. Herbs you have to be a bit careful in different animals, but homeopathic remedies you can use in all animals. And if you know the basics, you can treat a pig or even your apple tree. You just need to know the basics. You just have to learn them, and it's very, very easy.
There's another question there. I've been told I should be worming our rescue pigs because they live with a herd of rescue. Oh, hang on, let me just bring this up properly. Can you see the questions, Hanka?
I see the one with the dog now.
Okay, I've been told I should be worming our rescue pigs. They live with our herd of rescue horses, and I don't like to use allopathic medication.
Yeah, the best would be what I always say is get the poo tested. Let's say in dogs. I had actually a lab in Westport. Unfortunately, I think that man is not working anymore, but I think there's one in Kildare as well. They do the same. You can send in, as a private person, you can send in a fecal sample to them, and they test the fecal sample for parasites.
Oh, okay.
And I had talked to the man in Westport, and he told me most fecal samples he got in from dogs were negative. There weren't even worms. So if you, if your dogs or pigs are raised naturally with good food, with a strong immune system, they can deal with worms themselves. I haven't seen worms. I shouldn't. I just want to say I haven't seen worms in my dogs and cats, but I've got a puppy a few months ago, and he came with worms. And what you can do is, so especially in the puppy, it's very easy to do. I put raw carrots, chopped a bit raw carrots over a little bit of food and coconut flakes. And I did that for 3 days, and the worms in that puppy was gone. They were gone.
Can you just say that again? You put
chopped carrots and coconut flakes. But if you, I make it easy for you. On my website, I have one part. It's called downloads. If you go there, I have a download for natural deworming and natural flea and tick prevention. You can go down there, download and print it out, and you can read it there with a dosage on it as well, how much you can give.
Brilliant. So what's your website?
It's very simple, thenaturopathicvet.com. And if you put that, and if you go there to downloads, I have 3 free downloads there. One is for itchy conditions in dogs. And you can download and just print it out, and you have everything there. But if you still have questions after that, you still can email me, that is no problem. But there you have a few more options. But that's what I did with my puppy a few months ago. Just raw carrots, chopped a little bit over it, not much, and a few coconut flakes. That also works for cats, by the way. That can be done with cats as well. So that's the way I did it. You have homeopathic remedies as well, but in this case, I did it with the carrots and coconut flakes. 3 days, and there was no more worm. I haven't seen any worms since.
That's fantastic. That's so easy.
It's not always that easy, but
but why not start there though? Brilliant.
Exactly. You don't need it. And if you give your dog a natural diet, no dry food, the best would be no processed food at all, they build up a very good immune system. They can deal with worms. They can, and even if you see worms in there, or if you want to be on the safe side, you do those carrots and coconut flakes every 3 months, just to be on the safe side. If you feel uncertain, you can do that. And the same with fleas. Dogs usually, or cats don't usually get fleas if they have a good immune system. And if they are not in an environment where there's a lot of cats and dogs, and they could get it there. But if they have a good immune system, they don't get fleas.
How, you said a non-processed diet, so what would you recommend?
So the very, very best is what a dog would eat outside itself if he has to. And that would be a prey. Let's say they catch a rabbit. A rabbit contains of meat, raw meaty bones and organs. That's what a dog needs. But a dog also eats herbs outside. You see it in puppies because they are totally unspoiled. If you watch a puppy, if you get a young puppy and you let them do what they want to do, they go for sticks, they go for everything. They're for grass, for herbs, for berries, and that's what dogs they need a bit of fiber. That is their only carbohydrates they need, the fiber from herbs. We give them vegetables, or let's say if they have a prey in the intestine of the rabbit, there would be digested, let's say grass or something in that line. So they need a bit of plant-based as well. And of course, the prey is raw, so raw would be the best. But as I'm treating a lot of chronic diseases, you have to go by the dog and see what they are able to take. Or if you have an older dog, they're already 7 years used to dry food, or it's a bit more difficult. You might start with cooked food. There's a lot of different options. You can, but always think what would eat a dog or wolf outside in the wild.
Okay.
That leads you to the right direction. What do you should feed your dog or cat? Cat is a bit different again. Cat is pure carnivore. Cat wouldn't eat naturally, wouldn't eat really plant-based plants.
Okay. There is I don't know if you can see that one. My Cavachon, can you see that message? I think it came just directly to me. My Cavachon, what is that? A cavalier and something. Has excessive licking. I've been told it's a trait of the breed. She's licked her paws sore and she can wake me at night licking and regurgitating. Not sure what to do. Have you any suggestions?
Yeah, I just talked to Antoinette before we started. That is the most cases I'm getting are chronic itch in dogs, especially the smaller breeds, white breeds, pedigrees, unfortunately German Shepherds as well. It's the most cases I'm getting, and it's not easy to solve, but it can be. First of all, you have to find out what kind of an allergy is it? Is it an environmental allergy or is it a food allergy? You actually need help by someone like me, I have to say, because it is, if you try this and that and the other, it takes too long to get your dog in the right direction. Definitely, what you get at the vets, those chemicals, they are only treating the symptoms. They don't treat the cause and can cause side effects. So what you could do, one thing I could really advise is there is a saliva allergy test. I think the company is called DNA Easy. They are in Northern Ireland. If you Google that, DNA Easy, I think it's called. They have allergy tests for dogs and cats and horses, a lot of different tests. You could do that yourself and find out, you have at least
Okay.
Is it come from an environment or is it a food allergy? But you might need more help. You might need to strengthen the immune system. You might have to detox. But it's one thing you could do. But usually if it's in chronic itch, you need a bit more professional help to get it right.
I'm just thinking, like with humans, if somebody came to me with that, I would be looking at their gut, I'd be looking at their liver. And I have a little dog who's very, very itchy, and we think there's an emotional cause to that because she has the same diet as the others, but she's a rescue.
Of course, that can all. What I usually do, I send out a questionnaire. like you, I suppose, do it as well. I send out a questionnaire because I need to know as a lot of things. I need to know, what do you feed? What medication has the dog got? Where's he coming from? Is it a rescue dog? I need the personality of the dog. I need a lot of information to decide what to do and what kind of cause could be there for that itch. And then, I would tell you what I would say. I usually start with nutrition and good repair. Homeopathy has its place as well, but that's what I learned over the last few years. If you don't correct the nutrition, no homeopathy will help.
Yeah.
That's what I have learned. Yeah. So nutrition is the first thing, really. And supplements and the good repair. There's a lot that might have to be done, mightn't. Depends on the case.
Can I just ask you, what is it that you don't like about dried food? Because I know a lot of dogs have dried food.
So if one of the client feeds dry food, I want to see the dry food and I show them on the dry food what's wrong about it. You have to read the label, not the front of the package. You have to go back to the label. And the first thing is the constitutional analytics, where you have your proteins, your fat, your ash. That's where you look in a dry food. Do you find any carbohydrates on it? You don't, for a reason. So as I said before, if a dog would feed itself in the wild, a dog would only take in 3 to 5% carbohydrates in the form of fiber, because they need a bit of fiber for digestion. It's only 3 to 5% carbohydrates a dog eats as fiber. They don't need carbohydrates for energy. They get their energy from fat, not from carbohydrates. And if you, in the analytical constituents, if you look there, you could actually calculate how much carbohydrate is in that food. So you take the sum of the protein, of the fat, of the ash. I don't want to forget anything. What else do you have? Protein, fat, ash. Just the main nutrients in there, and the moisture. That's another thing. Moisture is usually not written on a dry food, because they only have to declare it if it's above 14%. Usually dry food has 8% moisture. So you have to take that in the sum as well. And when you have that sum, you subtract it off 100. I usually show that really with when I have a client. So you won't find any dry food under 35% carbohydrate.
Oh, and they don't declare that. It's not on the label.
It's not on the label. That's just one reason. And if you eat, it's the same in humans. If you eat too much carbohydrate, you actually cause inflammation in the body, slow inflammation. It's not one that comes up quick. It's slow inflammation. And wherever your weak point is, or the dog's or cat's weak point is in the body, that's where you will see then symptoms. It could be arthritis. Arthritis is not a disease of old age. It's not. It's a disease of slow inflammation caused from wrong nutrition, from too much carbohydrate. Same in people. Same thing. Or it could be so much. It could be your skin. It could be diabetes. It could be obesity. Carbohydrates can cause a lot of cancer. Not to forget, carbohydrates are feeding tumors.
Yeah.
So this is just one reason for not to feed dry food. There are so many others. The other one was the moisture. If a dog would eat their normal food outside, their prey, their rabbit, it's about 80% of moisture in there, compared to, if it's not written on the package, it's around 8%. That is a big difference, and they can't make up that difference just by drinking water. And especially cats. For cats, it's really, really bad if you feed them dry food. That is actually causing your typical kidney disease that you get in older cats. It's coming from dry food, from too much carbohydrates, for too little moisture. You need the moisture to clean your body, to flush the kidneys, to flush out the toxins. That's only 2 reasons for the dry food. There's a lot more. Do you want me to go on?
No, I think we got it. I hear a lot about animals with human diseases like cancers and diabetes and things like that. So I think that's probably then one of the reasons for it, if there's that much inflammation in
Definitely.
bodies.
The main reason.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And so many people are feeding dry food because they're told it's clean and they have everything they need in these little pellets.
But it's not natural. And Antoinette, it is dry food. It's boring. It's like if our kids or we eat burgers every day, the same burger every day, and that little bit of difference from salmon to chicken, forget it. That is not, it's boring. I had a lot of clients where they change from dry food to raw food, and their dogs, they just love it. They love the normal food. Or even if you can't, raw food, there's so many different ways you can do better, Even go to a high quality wet food, which you won't find in Lidl or Super Value. You have to go online, you won't find it there. Okay. But this is a different thing again. Even high quality wet food would be better than dry food.
Okay. Okay, so I missed a couple of messages there. What could I safely give my small Chihuahua mix, 1.5-year-old female? She's anxious in new situations, like new people or car rides. I've been giving her some flower essences, but I'm not seeing much progress.
Yeah, it depends. Now, we have herbs that can help, homeopathic remedies as well. I'm just thinking, do I have in my webinar? I just prepared it, and I put actually new herbs, and then the last webinar, I have the valerian in. I think this time in the webinar, valerian would be one that could help. You said it's okay. Valerian is more something for fireworks. Car rice, lavender oil, essential oil. You can put on a pillow or on a cloth, or you can actually feed lavender flowers as well. I think I have the lavender in this webinar as well. In the webinar, I only talk about 4 homeopathic remedies, 3 herbs and 3 kitchen remedies.
Brilliant.
So very not easy to pick. They're also important, but I think I have them in the webinar where I talk about dosages as well. I sometimes don't remember all the dosages because it's a lot.
Just tell us, when is the webinar? And I can put up links afterwards as well, but when is that on?
But that is the coming Friday. It's the 9th of February at 7 p.m. So a bit earlier than today.
Yeah.
And it will take about an hour. Okay. And if you actually register for the webinar, you will get a recording sent out afterwards if you can take part. So, but it's important you have to register so that I know who I can, who gets the recording then as well. So if you can take part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have signed up for it. My daughter and I are going to be listening, and we mightn't get it live, but she's really interested. Sally, that's more about the little Chihuahua. She's eating healthily, but she is vaccinated. So it might be that Sally, listen into the webinar. And
yeah, do you know what could help as well? It would be a constitutional homeopathic remedy, could help as well. It depends on if let's say if the herbs don't do the job, or then you could think of a constitutional homeopathic remedy as well. That might help.
So that is something Hanka would do for you. So let me see. Roisin says, are we supposed to clean out a puppy's ears? And if so, with what?
No. Why would you? Why would you, why a dog outside wouldn't clean their ears, Why would you interfere if there's no problem?
I think some of I'm just thinking about my niece dog. I have a dog who's a niece. I have a niece who's a dog. She is, I don't know, she's got long fluffy ears, and whenever she goes to the groomer, the ears are done because they've been told she can't clean them herself, or the way the ears are coming down. Would that be it? Is that why people are?
Or the hair could be. Yeah, you have to go to a groomer to get it. The hair has to maybe be cut out. Sometimes the hair is really in the ear as well. definitely go to a groomer who can actually get the hair out and clean it. The problem is if you clean it yourself, you just use cotton wool and you just use your finger to clean it out. Maybe with calendula tea, you can clean it out. But you shouldn't use those little, how you call it, the cotton swab. Because if you go too deep, you can rupture the eardrum. So, and I'd say I would rather let it be done by the groomer because they are trained to do it if it needs to be done.
Roisin said she was told that once they're away from their mummy, from their mum, that we have to clean the wax and remove the hair ourselves. That is something the mum would do.
I don't, maybe, but I don't, maybe certain breeds, but usually they don't need to, unless they really have a problem. It could, of course, certain breeds have have certain problems, but I would let it all have a good groomer that shows you. That is another option. You know, you need someone to show you how to do it right. But I would use a cotton wool and something. Yeah, calendula tea would be fine. Just to, and then go as deep as you can with your finger, but don't use a cotton swab. The thinging, because that can do damage.
Okay.
And it can drive it even deeper, the wax.
Yeah. I would
either groomer or you have to go to a vet. If it's really bad, and a groomer can't do it, you might have to be sedated, and a vet actually would know how far you can go.
Yeah.
And they can look into the ear to see how bad it is,
Okay.
As long as there's no problem.
I think this is kind of a general grooming question that was asked. I don't think there is a problem. I think it's for that little puppy that was on earlier.
Yeah.
But I do know that, some of these breeds with the curly hair, like my niece, that's the advice that's been given, to clean their ears.
Yeah, if there's not a problem, I wouldn't do it myself, but I'd say you have to go to a groomer anyway, I suppose, with those dogs.
Yeah,
and the groomers, and then tell the groomer, and they are trained. If it is a certified groomer, they are trained how to do it.
I've heard of groomers sedating dogs as well, so I'd say be careful when you're choosing your groomer if anybody is new to that whole thing of having to get dogs groomed. That doesn't sound right to me, sedating dogs. Any other questions? Oh, Jan wants to know, is a webinar is it going to be on Zoom?
Yeah, it's like this one. It will be on Zoom, and will be recorded. Okay. Exactly, it's the same way. But I will have a presentation that day. You can put your video on if you like, and with the video, and I will answer questions at the end of the webinar as well.
Okay, brilliant. Brilliant. Any other tips for helping keep our small our cats and dogs healthy, holistic, happy?
No more questions.
Yeah, so do you have any general tips that you could give us for keeping these creatures happy? Yeah,
first of all, nutrition. Inform yourself. There's lots of knowledge out there to feed them naturally. It's the most important thing to have a good immune system for your dogs and cats so that they don't get sick. And of course, you should learn about homeopathy, herbs, just to be able to help your dogs and cats if ever something happens. I find that very, very important, that you and trust yourself that you can do it. Hundreds of years ago, people had to do it themselves. There was no one else, and they knew they had all those remedies. They knew how to help their kids and to help their animals. And we should go back to that. We should relearn again how to use natural remedies to look after minor ailments or minor injuries where you don't always need a vet. Just trust yourself.
Yeah.
It's the same with homeopathy, It's the same thing.
And you have you were calling them kitchen remedies that you mentioned to me. the other day as well, which I love the sound of that stuff that you have in your cupboards that you can really help your animals with as well. Stuff that you don't
Exactly.
realize is so beneficial.
Yeah, and you see, what I do after, let's say in the webinar, I have only those 10 remedies I'm talking about because of time, but I will run an online course afterwards. It's the same thing. It will be a Zoom meeting every week, and one module will be homeopathy, one herbs, and one kitchen remedies, where we go through about 20 different remedies and how you can use them for your dogs and cats.
That's great.
In acute situations.
Yeah, brilliant.
And it's a lot of them on internet you can use for your own, for your, you know, for your kids or for yourself. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Just you know, you have to learn about it. You have to know about it.
What about Sally saying tips for transitioning a picky cat over to a raw diet?
Yeah, difficult. It depends how old the cat is, because that's what I advise as well. If you have a kitten, okay, I would start them raw straight away, but still, you should give a kitten also other consistencies of food. They should get once dry food too, because you never know what will happen later in life. They might need to eat something like other consistencies or other types of food as well. But what a kitten hasn't learned or tried when they were young, as a cat later, it's very hard to transition them. There are a lot of ways what you can do. You didn't say how old she is, and in a cat you have to do it slowly but surely. And it depends, do you transition from dry food to raw food or from wet food to raw food? So there's a lot of little tricks and tips. It has to be slow, you know, mix it under the food bit by bit, warm the food. You could even give it cooked first, because that enhances the flavor. So they might be more interested in it. So it's a bit more difficult in a cat than in a dog. Dogs usually have no problems to transition. You were saying something, Jen, were you? Okay.
My dogs will eat anything. They brought in a rabbit yesterday and chased it, a baby rabbit, and chased it around the kitchen. They've been digging up in my flower bed. I was just undoing the dishwasher, and next minute I have mud, soil, and I'm chasing 2 dogs and baby rabbit. So mine have no problem eating anything, sorry. I had to mop my kitchen floor afterwards. It was disgusting. But they keep going looking under the bookcase to see if it's there today. We took it out, didn't we? You know, so that's raw food too far for me, you know.
But you know what? You don't have to give it raw in that way. There are frozen raw foods. That is a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, and you can get it in Ireland. We have a lot of suppliers here in Ireland, and they're very, very good. They're very, very good.
I'm in the UK, and I'm over in Wales, but there's a lot over here too.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That cat that you were talking about is 8 years old. He's been eating dry food for urinary troubles.
Oh my goodness. It's the dry food for urinary trouble. It's the worst. It's the worst you can do. But it is difficult to transition. We really need I really have to chat to yourself, because it is more difficult, you know. And what I do is that if I have consultations, or if I take on a case, I'm always staying in contact. That's part of the consultation. I stay in contact with my clients for 4 weeks, because there are always questions, and I help them. It's not only that I tell you what to do and how to do once. We will be in contact for 4 weeks, because I know, especially in cats, it's not easy to change certain, especially food in cats. So because it's I can give you a few tips now, but they mightn't work. So we have to actually stay in communication to get the whole process done.
Yeah,
So
Sally, do reach out to Hanka privately, and maybe you could set up a chat or something, because it sounds like it can be done. It's just going to need a bit of
yeah.
and Yeah.
And especially with urinary trouble, you know, there's certain supplements she should take as well, or certain foods she can't have, and you know that has to be, it's a bit deeper. You know, it's a chronic problem that needs chronic. You know, needs a deeper talk. Like.
But that's great. That's really positive, because you can help with all of that with herbs and with supplements or whatever. Yeah, I think that's great. This Roshin says, how many times a day are you feeding a pup on this natural diet, and what sort of meat would you use?
It depends on the age of the dog. So you start off at about four times a day, and you have to play by ear. Every dog is different, but you start about 4 times a day, depending on the age. And when they get older, that's about 6 months old, you only feed them twice a day, and you go down then to once a day. And you should feed them let's say 3 to 4 different meats to a puppy that they learn. You know, let's say fish should be one, beef, chicken, turkey. You know, I would actually, and that's fine, I'd say. And you don't need more. And you start, it all depends how old the puppy is. You start one meat at a time for a few days before you introduce the next meat source. So it depends on the age of the puppy as well, and what has been fed now before.
Roisin, I know some of our local butchers are making up bags of like organs and stuff for pet owners. If you were looking for that. And that puppy is 7 months old.
Oh, 7 months already. So he only needs about the most twice a day, depends on himself, you know, but 7 months, twice a day or once a day. And if you feed raw, you have to weigh your dog. If it's an adult dog, you give 2 to 4% of their body weight, depending on their activity. 2 to 4% of their body weight. Some dogs eat more, some less, but you don't need to give more than 4%. And if they're younger, there's certain percentage. Like a puppy could actually eat more than an adult dog. A puppy would actually eat like the same as an adult dog, but more. You know, more quantity.
Okay.
It's a lot to take in now, isn't it?
Yeah, that puppy's on dry food since you got it. But look, Roisin, she's only a few months old, so I think that's great. It's great to be able to get to really good food at 7 months. My 2 dogs and the cat were eating organic beef liver and beef cheeks. I'm a vegan, but I get this stuff with it.
Not easy.
I love it.
Yeah, they do. And raw meaty bones for their teeth.
Yeah.
You know, a wolf out there wouldn't have problems with their teeth. They wouldn't have tartar because they eat raw meaty bones. The bones are their toothbrushes, but there has to be meat on them, because when their meat is on them, they chew longer so that they can clean their teeth. And you need the meat to get the acidity down in the stomach to digest the bone better.
Oh, okay.
But it has to be not just bone, it has to be meat on the bone, like a chicken thigh. You know, there has to be meat on the bone. So they really chew for a good while and clean their teeth, and the acidity goes down in the stomach to digest the bones, right?
Would you
Never
give chicken legs to
cooked.
dogs?
Pardon?
You would give chicken legs. I'm always afraid of the bones. I know they're worse when they're cooked, but
that's what I just wanted to say. There's no problem in feeding meaty bones, even chicken bones. There is a problem if you cook them. If you cook them, they can break sharp and can cause problems in the throat. So, you know, going back to the nature, to the wild, they have no problems eating big bones.
Okay.
It's just if they are cooked, they can break sharp. And of course, it depends on the size of the dog as well, what kind of bones you give them. So you know, of course, a smaller dog wouldn't be able to eat a chicken thigh. But I have to say, even my cats eat chicken thigh. They leave a bit of bone behind. They wouldn't be able to eat the whole bone. but they are able to do it. But you have to start slowly as well. If they have never eaten bones before, you have to watch them. Some are so eager, they eat it and swallow it. They can eat bones very fast as well, but the first few times you just want to watch them, that they don't swallow a big piece all at once because they are so happy, So the transition. There's also chicken necks you can give for smaller dogs. So there's it's a big subject at nutrition, yeah.
Isn't it? Has anybody else got? I'm aware of the time. Has anybody else got questions to ask? Well, that's actually a lot of information, Hanka. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was more nutrition than homeopathy today.
But it's the foundation of health. Like we know that. We don't need all the homeopathy probably if we get the nutrition right.
Exactly. You need your homeopathy really for acute illnesses or injuries. That's where it's really helpful.
Yeah.
It's really, really helpful. And I wish I teach my clients to have homeopathic remedies at home. And I wish everyone would have a kit at home. Just that and you learn. It's so easy to learn. And you get into it, the more often you use it, the better you get. And I always say, I'm there in the background. You only have to text me if you have your homeopathic remedies, and you're not sure when there is an acute happening. I'm really happy to help as long as you have those remedies at home. And if you're not certain, I just, I can help you until you get experienced or, that you can do it yourself.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, as a reminder before we go, do you have 3 top tips? It could be something you've gone over already, but just for people to leave with 3 top tips for looking after their cat or their dog.
Yeah, first of all, inform yourself about the right nutrition. No dry food, preferably no processed food at all. So there is loads of information online about natural food for dogs and cats, but you could always reach out to me if you need to know more. So get informed about natural nutrition for your dog and cat is the first thing. The second one is have homeopathic remedies at home, have a few herbs at home, and third tip would be really learn how to use those things, and you find those information, and trust yourself that you can do it. You would do like you use your homeopathy on your kids. You can do that for your animals as well. You're well able, just have them at home and inform yourself and trust yourself. You can't really do much wrong, really. But learn and trust and have it at home.
Brilliant. Roisin said, thanks so much. She's found that really interesting. She's got lots to start with, and there has been loads and loads to start with. But do come, anybody here and who's watching on the replay, do come sign up for the webinar. Can you just tell us again, what are you going to cover in the webinar, the free webinar? What are you going to cover in that on Friday?
Yeah, so first of all, I will go through 3 mistakes that are commonly made, also not only by beginners. Then I go through the 10 remedies, 4 homeopathic remedies, 3 herbs, 3 kitchen remedies, how you can use them in acute situations. Then I have my 3 top tips of what you can do with certain injuries or certain ailments. And then I finish up to talk about my online course, what will be covered in the online course if anyone is interested in that. So that will be about an hour. And then, of course, it's time for question and answers. And I actually do like you did it today. People can ask their question in the chat, and I will go through them at the end.
Okay, so bring your pen and paper because there's going to be an awful lot covered in an hour. And I'm really looking forward to it. Hanka, thank you so much. This has been
thanks for having me, Antoinette. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's been absolutely brilliant. I will get this out to everybody tomorrow who hasn't had it. Anybody here who wants to sign up for Hanka's course, either go follow her on Instagram or Facebook. It's Naturopathic Vet everywhere, or just go onto her website, and I'm sure you'll find all the links there. And been great. Thanks a million.
Yeah, thank you. It was lovely. The time went fast.
I know we've been talking for nearly an hour. I'm going to stop this
Wow.
recording.